Good morning. That time has arrived again. I'm not sure where I will end up, but I'm starting with the economy this morning, the worldwide economy. The title is When, Not If, the world's economic system collapses. Ben Bernanke, chairman of the Federal Reserve, has been using the term fiscal cliff. It is where the worldwide Ponzi scheme run by international bankers will meet its doom. It's going over the cliff. There's no stopping it. It does not mean there will be no more money. It means the system of monetary distribution, as we have known it, has run out of gas. This is a very good thing. Perhaps now we will be able to have honest people with hearts in the right place, taking leadership positions and redirecting the economic policies of the planet. That will bring on the new renaissance I have mentioned previously. And it's not a question of if, only a matter of when. Yes, I've been seeing all the headlines with this fiscal cliff term being used in mainstream media. And of course, in alternative media, of people commenting on what the mainstream media is reporting. And for most people, it's a scare tactic. I mean, it's meant to scare the living bejesus out of you. Okay? What are we going to do when the government doesn't have any more money to pay its bills? Because the banks aren't going to lend them any more money to pay the bills. In Europe, it's been the austerity program, telling the people you've got to cut back on your goods and your services and your lifestyle. Well, the only people that are going to need to cut back on their lifestyle are the people that have been trying to control the planet. And rightly so. They're the ones that will need to cut back on their lifestyle. They are pathological liars in almost all cases. Maybe all cases, but I don't like to use the word all because I've learned one thing on this journey this time is that there are always exceptions to every rule, and nothing applies universally. The trouble with our world is we have created a world where the people that make the rules always make exceptions for themselves to the very rules that they make. If you and I, as average people living on this planet, did what the leaders of our world do, we would be arrested in a wink. Boom, we're in prison or taken out or whatever. We would never be able to get away with what our leaders have gotten away with for decades, centuries, millennium. Who knows how far back this system goes of fraud and deception, creating religions, creating institutions of higher learning or of acceptable beliefs, and saying, well, these are the rules. These are the taboos. You better not cross that line, because if you do, you're in trouble. The world has been operating on a system created by its so-called leaders, as David Icke terms it, problem, reaction, solution. They create a problem, anticipating a reaction from the people, and the people saying to the leaders, fix it. It's not our leaders' job to fix it. It's our leaders' job, honestly, to tell the truth. But our leaders don't tell the truth, or the people that have been posing as leaders, they're not leaders, because a true leader has the heart of a servant. And that's what I meant when I said uh, honest people with hearts in the right place. People that are willing to tell the truth and not just speak the party line. For anybody that thinks that there's been freedom of press in the United States or in any other so-called free countries, wake up. In the United States, all you need to do is look at some of the videos, and I'm not going to try to find links, but I've seen the videos where they show broadcasts from 20 or 30 different news media across the country on the same date, all saying almost the exact same words and phrases to describe what's happening, because the news is something that is prepared by a central intelligence agency of some sort, and I don't necessarily mean the CIA. It could be the NSA or any other three-letter agency coming out of the Council on Foreign Relations or the Bilderbergers Group or something like that, where they use terms like Fiscal Cliff, and everybody's using it. Everybody's using the same phrase. Why? It's a talking point that is put out there by the media with the intent to scare you. Most of the time, the intent of mainstream news is to scare the hell out of you. Well, I wish the hell would get scared out of the human race. I mean, I wish to God the hell would be scared out of us so that we would no longer have to deal with that idiocy, that insanity, that somehow there's a God that's going to punish us for having taken on this journey called human life with all of its risks and all of its apparent dangers and all of its opportunities and all of its blessings. We took on this thing forgetting. I mean, we came in forgetting who we were, handicapped from the get-go. But we've helped create this fiscal thing that is based on fraud, a monetary system where the money is not money, it's debt. It's debt. Now, I did watch a video yesterday by a lady whom I don't even know what her name was. It's on, somebody posted it on my Facebook page. It was really interesting. She said all money, even whether it's backed by gold and precious metals or all of it's fiat money. I thought that was really interesting. When I went to the next part of her video, it was going to be 2.5 hours long, she anticipated at the beginning. I don't know how long it was because I quit a few minutes into the second part when she said interest is a necessity. That was a total lie. I knew right then that it was propaganda that I was listening to, because the interest in our monetary system is never created. It's never created. It just shows up on the book as debt. It's an illusion, a true illusion. It doesn't exist except as entries on a computer, or in the old days, entries in a bookkeeping ledger. But that's all it is. Ones and zeros, ons and offs on some computer screen. Money is like that. Money is like that. They are just means of exchange. Now, I thought she was very, very good in what she had to say, that we need a means of exchange, because we can't all barter. What I have, not everybody needs. And what other people have, again, not everybody needs it. So we have to have some kind of a system where we can exchange things, and money is what we have created. I agree with her. Maybe there's a time coming when we come more fully into our powers as human beings, the latent gifts and abilities that we forgot we had when we became human. Maybe the time is coming in the future when we get empowered enough and confident enough in our own creative abilities to actually create whatever we want without a whole lot of to-do about it. And we're free to just create beauty. We don't need to to struggle so much just to survive as in the current economic system. Wouldn't it be wonderful if the economic system collapses, that frees people from the bondage and the slavery that we've known to the economic system of having to work hard at things that we don't even want to do, that we don't enjoy, and somehow we get freed from that and we're able to create what we do like. We're able to do things that we do like, and we are willing to serve one another because our hearts are changed, because the pressure's off, the stress has been released of having to live a lie. The financial system has been built completely on lies. Completely. And our governments have been, the foundation of our governments are lies. When they talk about national security, all they're really talking about is don't let people know the truth. I mean, God forbid that people know the truth. As George Bush said, if people knew what we were doing, they'd take us and they'd tar and feather us, or they'd hang us from the nearest lamppost or whatever. Indeed, this is what our leaders have given us. But who are our leaders? They are representatives of our consciousness. And going off the fiscal cliff is a really good thing because it's a wake-up call. It's time for everybody to take responsibility. Corporation CEOs are no longer going to be able to say, well, I had limited liability and I don't take responsibility. I'm not going to allow you to hold me accountable. Bullshit. Everybody needs to be held accountable. And the universe, the cosmos, is going to put it in our face till we get it. They're going to say, are you going to look at what you created? And I don't care if it's your personal life or it's the collective life. In your personal life, the situation is called relationships. You have relationships with lovers, with family, with friends, with business associates. You have relationships. That's your personal world. Our collective world, it's called politics. It's relationships, but on a bigger scale, where everything relates to everything else. And that system, which has been driven by the economic model, if you will, of creating scarcity, of creating debt, of creating obligations, that system is going to collapse. It's collapsing. There's nothing going to save it. It's not a matter of if it's going to happen or not. It's going to happen. And the people that have created it to collapse. But they think that the people are going to be stupid enough to allow them to put their fix in. And what is their fix? Their fix is more control. Their fix is more domination. Their fix is more lies. Their fix is more deception. Their fix is taking more for themselves and taking more from the people so that the people have less and less and they have more and more. That's their fix, folks. Is that the fix we want as a human family? We have a choice. We have a choice in the matter. We can choose business as usual and try to maintain the status quo. And I don't care if you're a cop, a soldier, working for some company, creating arms in the arms race. I don't care what it is. You're going to have to make a decision. Do I want to keep contributing to this madness, to this insanity? Or am I going to finally get together my gumption and my integrity and stand for the truth, for telling people the truth? Am I going to finally listen to my heart that says show compassion and be loving and be honest with people and be honest with myself? Are we going to, is that where we're going to be? That's where I'm wanting to be. And we can create the world that we want, but only by becoming the people that we need to be. We can't be the people that we have been because that plays right into the game, and we will go over the fiscal cliff with those that have created the fiscal cliff. They've created it. It's their own doom. You give them enough rope, they hang themselves, and they're hanging themselves. Ben Bernanke, you're hanging yourself. We don't know how Obama is going to play his cards. I know I was told back in 2010, Ron, it's time to stop making excuses and do what you came here to do. Some people say Obama came here to do something good. Well, you've been playing this game very well from the leader's point of view for 4 years. It's time, if you were really sent here on a divine mission, it's time to do the divine mission, Mr. Obama. It's time to start being a mouthpiece for truth instead of a mouthpiece for the people that have been psychopathic liars. Do you understand what I'm saying, Mr. Obama, Mr. Bernanke, and all you other so-called false leaders? You so-called leaders, but it's false leaders. You are not governing anything except the collapse of the world as we have known it, which is a good thing. Thank you for that. Thank you for giving us that gift of the collapse of the world as we have known it, because that world is a sick world. It doesn't work for everybody. And any world created that doesn't work for everybody doesn't work, period. It's unsustainable. That's what you've given us. You've given us the gift to wake us up. Thank you for that. I appreciate the gift that you have. And you can hang around and watch what happens, because whether you like it or not, the world's waking up. The people are waking up. We're taking back our power, whether you like it or not. And yes, you can be forgiven if you really start telling the truth, if you really start listening to your own heart. Something you've not been well trained to do, have you? You've been trained exactly the opposite, to not listen to your heart, to not show compassion. Well, it's time to change that program, isn't it? The world's economic system is collapsing, and the economy takes with it all of the structures that we've known and become accustomed to. And change is going to be the name of the game. And it's going to be either a positive change or a negative change, depending on how we, the people, respond. If we respond with courage in the face of all the fear that's being thrown at us, we will have the ability and we will have the help and assistance that we need to create a tremendously beautiful world where everybody wins. Everybody that wants to win can win. Thank you for listening and for considering the things I've shared with you this morning. Namaste.